welcome back to Guitar Reset. Today I kind of really wanted to dive back into those two pattern shapes, the lowercase q shape and the lowercase b shape, the minor sounding and the major sounding. And just wanted to slow those two shapes down a little bit, make sure everybody's got it. So simple stuff, right? Let's just look. You know, this is what I imagine as a lowercase b on the 3rd, 5th, 7th fret, and then on the A string on the 5th and 7th fret, and that's the B shape, the major sounding shape. So just those 5 notes, and then going back in reverse. Now we're going to go into the Q shape, right? So that shape, and then you got the Q shape, which kind of looks just like that. It's basically reverse B, right? So that's going to look more like this. So the main key note on the Q shape is the 2nd note. That's the key we're playing in, just playing this Q shape around it, and this shape itself will kind of sound minor. With the B shape, that is the top of the stem is the main key we're playing in, and you can see they overlap. They both, you know, connect here. They both share this same note here. So that Q shape, if we're playing in G, that's the 2nd note of the Q shape. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Kind of play that in a, you know, a little bit more of a minor or funkier kind of sound in the G. You can play that B shape, which sounds a lot more of a major sound. So we talked about just the E and the A strings, the low E and the A string here, and those shapes, targeting that note, the G, back to the G, and then to the G. All right. So thinking about this and knowing that it's these key notes, the G note is basically what we're looking for, and starting this, we can start to expand. We can basically find the other G notes on the neck. We can utilize octaves to where we know where the next octave note is, and all these patterns are going to repeat again. Let's say on the A string, that's your G note right there on the 10th fret. So let's play the Q shape on that note, and then the B shape on it also, you know, much higher up the neck. So so that's that. We found that there. Let's say on the D string, right? The 3rd string over. Well, if we're not familiar with exactly where the notes are, that's an easy one to find with the octave. So if we're here, we're just going to move up one whole step, you know, 2 strings over, which is the D. And now you can do it at that point. We'll start with the Q shape. quick on these patterns too, the Q and the B shape. Let's say the B shape, the major sounding, right? A lot of times, you know, you don't have to play every single note. You know, it's going to sound pretty mechanical. So a lot of times what I see a lot of riffs are made out of are just exactly that, in that pattern, but basically it's not starting from the starting point. It's maybe starting from, let's say, this note right here, in between 1, 2, 3. That's in between it, right? That's actually a blue note, essentially, within the pattern. So we'll talk about that later, but so rather, this is fun too, though. That's, I think, everything for tonight. Thanks for watching. Hopefully that explained those two shapes a little bit more.